Galaxie, under the hood, big block, is it? We'll figure all that out after the break.
Restoration of a classic Ford is a journey of discovery. Let Autocrafters help you with yours. We offer quality parts for Falcon, Fairlane, F-Series, Galaxie, Maverick, and Pinto. Contact us today.
All right, so the car we have, we've had guys write in and say, hey, is that 390 original to the car? It is decidedly not. If you look at the VIN over here, the VIN has a C where I'm showing you with the circle around it right now. That is the engine code for this car, dictating that it is a 289 two-barrel. We also know the car was originally a 3-speed manual by the VIN that's on the A-pillar inside of the car, which I can't show you right now. I can't get the driver's door open enough to get a photograph of it. But trust me, it's a 3-speed manual car with a 289 originally. That being the case, I want to know then what I've got for my engine in the engine bay. When I looked at this thing originally, I checked codes. Now the first codes I always check are the intake manifold, because I want to kind of start there and then move my way through it. Now the intake manifold on this thing has a date code and also a part number on it. The part number is a C5 part number, telling me that this is a 1965 part. Unless they make a number of huge changes to the intake manifold, that's going to be pretty consistent from, let's just say, 1963 all the way up. But we know now that this is not a 1963, at least intake, because of it being a C5, which means 1965 part number. We also look at the number right above that. That is the date code of this engine. Now that is a 5M22. Being a 5M22, that tells me that it was done, cast in 1965, December 22nd, right before Christmas. You know that they were just excited to still be in the foundries, I'm sure. Everybody's waiting for that vacation. So we know now that that intake manifold is a 1965 intake manifold because of the casting date. So next thing I always look at is the cylinder heads. And on a big block FE, that is really important. You can have truck heads, you can have really high performance heads, you can have medium risers, low risers. You guys have asked for an FE cylinder head video, and I will do that, but it's going to take me a little bit to put that together because I just have to do a lot more research on the FEs because of the amount of cylinder heads that were available back in the day. But we do know that these are C6 AE heads. C6 means that they were done in 1966 or they were set up for the 1966 model, and the AE is just the rest of the part number. The L is the important fact on there. That tells you which big block 390 head this is. This is the L head. That head is good for probably 400 horse. Not much more than that. These are not medium risers. These are not high riser heads. They're not going to give you the kind of flow potential that those do, although they can probably be flowed out that way. At that point, I might look at a set of aftermarket cylinder heads and be done with it. If you're looking at an engine like this and you can pull the valve cover off, you'll see that there is a number between the number 2 and number 3 cylinder in the forward section of the lifter valley. That number tells you when this head was cast. Now this head was cast in 1965, which is the October 12th. So it was 1965, October 12th. That means that the cylinder heads and the intake manifold are within a couple of months of each other. That's about real. That's normal for this. This engine may be a fully complete big block 390. The other number you would want to be able to look at, which you can't without removing the starter, is the engine block number, and it's usually cast on these engines further back on the bottom. I'm not sure about the big block 390s in that earlier section like that, but I know that the later 289, 302, 351 Windsors, Clevelands, big blocks, those engines all have a date code or a part number stamped into them, and a lot of times there's a date code on the block. There may be a date code on the front of the block as well. We don't really know. I haven't looked for any of that stuff, but the fact that the cylinder heads and intake are common tells me that somebody's been into this thing and they've probably, hopefully, massaged it a little bit. The way it's running right now, we're going to need a really good masseuse, like, top flight Swiss, Helga, because this thing is not doing well. There's problems, and that's what we're going to be going into next week. That's all I'm going to cover for right now, because realistically the transmission and all that kind of stuff can be a separate video, and in fact will be a separate video when we go in and mess with the transmission to try to get the shifter all worked out. we'll go into a lot of that kind of information at that point. But for today, I think that's all I really want to cover with you guys, just to talk about part numbers and looking for part numbers whenever you're looking at an engine. It'll let you know a lot more than you might think it would. All right, so there you go. That's what we're going to talk about with that. Now, what I want to talk a little bit about right now is Patreon and why we do Patreon. Patreon is to support the kids that come in here and work on Saturdays. We pay them a little bit of money, we feed them, and they come in here to learn how to operate cameras. All of our young guys in here are learning how to operate cameras. Some of them are learning to edit. Andrew is now able to be a part-time employee here because of the Patreon support we have. I don't really see any money on that. In fact, what I'm doing with the kids actually cost me some money. So the Patreon is just a way to support that. If we've done anything to help you out in any way, or if we're on a consistent basis, you're coming to us and you're finding things that help you work on your car, think about supporting us. You don't have to do it at the $10 a month level where we have our monthly Zoom meetings and all that kind of stuff. You can just do a couple of bucks if that's all you can afford. I'm not asking you to do it at all. You don't have to do that in order to support the channel. Just you being here supports our channel. The guys that have been coming up beside me here, these are the ones that have put their money where their mouth is, and they're now supporting us on a monthly basis. And you know, I just thank them for doing that. Another thing I wanted to talk about is subscribing to the channel. We're at 91,000 subscribers right now. We're wanting to move on up past 100,000. I'm kind of curious to see if that will help us grow faster because we have that 100,000 magic mark. Plus, I just want the plaque. I want the plaque to put on the wall, on the Paul's wall that's on the wall, with the Paul's wall on the wall. Of Paul wall. Yeah, close enough. So that's really kind of one of those things that we're just wanting to be able to put that up there and be able to proudly say that it's taken us 11 and a half years to get to this point. When some people who make, you know, slime videos do it in like 2 weeks. Speed. Also, be kind to each other, love on each other, treat each other nice. You guys have a great week. We'll see you on down the road. Honestly, just between you and me, the 3 to 4 guys that are still here to the very end of the video, I'm a little worried about this 390. The passenger side bank is not really doing much. When we started the engine, we had a lot of stuff come out of the driver's side pipe and almost nothing come out of the passenger side pipe, meaning that we maybe have a bunch of crap in the pipes or that the passenger side bank really isn't doing a lot. We may have some plugged lifters. I don't know. It's just not happy. Makes me not happy. But next week we're going to try to tune it. So there's things I got to do in between here and there, and I guess just wish me luck because this one's wearing on me just a tad because of its things that it's doing.